Hey guys, you're watching Tech Magnifier. Today we have with us the Gionee Elife S Plus, which is available in the market for 16,999 rupees. Apart from unboxing, we'll put the phone through a few benchmark tests in this video and find out how good is its 13 megapixel camera and the 5.5-inch AMOLED display. The phone comes exquisitely packed in a white box, very much like the upmarket Chinese brands Oppo and OnePlus. And let's look at the phone itself. The 5.5-inch S Plus is made out of plastic mostly. There's a very thin lining of metal on both edges of the side rims. The back cover is removable and has a printed texture on it. It's though a smooth glossy surface. S Plus is available in three colors: gold, white and blue. Above the screen there's camera and sensors. At the bottom there's printed soft keys. The rear camera is accompanied by a single LED flash, which is at the left side. The audio jack is on the top and the USB port is at the bottom. It's not a common USB port you would find in most of the phones. It's a USB Type-C port that supports fast charging and fast data transfer, but would be difficult to find a spare one. The phone supports dual SIM with 4G connectivity and has expandable storage of up to 128 GB using a micro SD card. The SIM2 and micro SD card, as you can see, are hot swappable as they are beside the battery. The rest of the box has a Type-C USB cable, a 2A charger and an in-ear type earphones. The earphones are tough but are made out of plastic, although they look as if they're made out of metal. The cable is quite long though, and there's mounted mic and control button. There are no spare silicone buds for the earphones. The silicone back cover is also included in the box with a clear type screen guard. Last things are the user manual printed in English, a warranty card stating 1-year warranty on handset and 6 months on accessories, and a 3150 mAh lithium polymer battery. So the phone has been set up with 3 benchmarking apps installed. But let me bring this forth before I forget. The audio quality of the phone is great. I just happened to listen some rock and EDM tracks on it, and it sounds quite as good as the iPhone. And yes, from the bundled earphones itself, thanks to the DTS chip. On the benchmark tests, Gionee S Plus scores a decent 34,000 on Antutu, and we'll come back to this software for specs as well. Stays below 60 on Ninamark, barely coming up to 58 FPS, which is not a very decent score. On 3D Mark, it manages 181 points, that confirms its graphic prowess isn't as mighty in this segment. Coming back to Antutu, let's take a good look at its specs. It runs the MT6753 chipset from MediaTek that has 64-bit architecture and houses an Octa core processor in big little arrangement. The processor is clocked at 1.3 GHz of maximum frequency and is coupled to 3 GB of RAM and 16 GB of storage, 11 GB of which is user available. For graphics, the phone has a Mali T760GPU CPU on board, which is quite the processor for the price, but its display only has 720p of resolution support. This 720 pixel screen has 320 pixel per inch of pixel density. The camera modules are unnamed 30 megapixel sensor in the rear and 5 megapixel in the front. The phone runs Android 5.1 OS with its own interface, the Amigo on top of it. Most of the common sensors are present. The Amigo OS has quite a few peculiarities that make it different from other Android skins. One of the most intriguing has to be the toggle menu. Every Android has it in the drop-down menu, but Gionee S Plus would only show apps and notifications on the menu. All toggles are to be found on the pull-up menu like in iPhone's control center. You'll need to get used to it if you're not using an iPhone before. Another thing that I would call a problem is the app clearing shortcut, which is missing in the recent apps menu. The OS otherwise looks fine and has plenty to show off. Home screens are downloaded high graphic images that can keep changing. Notification count for apps appear on top of them. and there are hosts of widgets that can be added on the screen. The text, font and the size can be changed, and there are plenty of themes and wallpapers available, including the theme park app that supports a lot of downloadable themes that the phone can have. From security perspective, it has a data encryption option that can protect your phone data from getting hacked if ever a situation arises. The phone also comes with extreme power saving mode that might help it extend the battery backup. Many things can be controlled from the home screen itself using gestures and shortcuts. You can silence the phone by turning it over, among other gestures. Apps of your choice can be launched from the lock screen itself, and lastly, the phone also supports the schedule power on and off option. Now let us click some pictures from phone's 13 megapixel camera. This is the indoor shot. The macro shot here appears to have a lot of details, but the color doesn't seem to be up to the mark. It may be the screen. Let's also take an outdoor shot, which appears clear that the details don't stay intact at zoom. The color reproduction of the camera is also saturated. It could be the display, of course, but let's take a look at the sample videos now run by the phone. The color appears to be warm. This could be an effect of the display. Yeah, so let's make it neutral. The quality does become better, yet at this price many smartphones support a full HD display. For now the camera appears average, the display appears big, but yes, average in quality. Chipset is slightly competitive and the physical and the interface designs are quite good. And that's all for the initial tests on Gionee Elife S Plus. Thank you for watching the video.
For latest news and reviews of gadgets and games, visit www.techmagnifier.com.